Alright, so today I'm going to be rightfully complaining and ranting about the two new subclasses that were added for Hunter and Forsaken. And the subclasses that are in question are Arcstrider's Way of the Current and Night Stalker's Way of the Wraith subclass trees. But anyway, getting into the overview of the Way of the Current, we have Whirlwind Guard. While Arc Staff is active, hold a key to deflect projectiles, tripling damage. Then we have Tempest Strike, sliding and meleeing releases a devastating uppercut attack. For the third perk, we have Lightning Weave, melee hits greatly increase weapon reload speed. And finally we have Ebb and Flow, hitting a target with arc abilities electrifies them, and meleeing electrified enemies grants ability energy. So to start to complaining, a big reason why Whirlwind Guard is so underwhelming and so lackluster is that when you're using it, it drains your energy so fucking quickly and you almost get nothing in return out of it. The reflected projectiles rarely hit the enemy. I don't know if there's some mathematic formula or if you have to calculate the Coriolis effect, but usually when you reflect something, it goes about 1.5 miles away from the enemy that you're trying to aim it at. And the triple damage after a reflect literally lasts for 1.5 seconds, so it's pretty much useless. This whole ability just runs your super down for no reason. Tempest Strike is a pretty cool ability itself. You get to feel like Aang from Avatar, but the fact that you have to sprint, slide, then melee makes you put yourself in tough situations most of the time, especially in PvP. And for a one-time use ability, it doesn't do near enough damage that would warrant its use. I can't really say much bad things about Lightning Weave since there's no downside to it. It's a pretty big bump to your reload speed and it helps out quite a bit. But Ebb and Flow is another very underwhelming perk due to the fact that it's most of the things that are hit by arc abilities or are going to be tagged die within a second of the arc ability hitting them, so you won't really get much super energy or ability energy back from it. So some things that I think would help fix this subclass are letting you somewhat aim the projectiles you want to deflect so you can actually hit something back for once. Also, letting the damage buff after reflecting last longer than the blink of a damn eye. This in itself would seriously help this subclass alone. You would be able to pair this with something like Raid and Flux and have some fat ass damage on a boss or something. Or even just have Ebb and Flow give ability energy back on arc ability kills. But anyway, that's going to be enough complaining about Whirlwind Guard, and now we're going to move on to complain about the Night Stalker class, Way of the Wraith. So this was the first subclass I immediately unlocked in Forsaken, and I regretted my purchase as soon as I did it. But getting into it, we have Spectral Blades. This is essentially a watered down, broken blade dancer, like your 3 blade dancer that got shat on, except it has a heavy attack that lets you go invids. And then we have Corrosive Smoke, which is just a smoke grenade that damages enemies inside of its smoke radius. Then we have Flawless Execution, precision kills while crouched, gives you invis and wall hacks at the same time. Then we have Shattering Strike, meleeing an enemy while Flawless Execution is active, weakens them. So the reason this super isn't near as good as it seems is because first of all, the super doesn't last nearly as long as it should. I literally piss on an empty bladder longer than this thing lasts. And also, not to mention, your T-Rex arms constantly get short stopped, so it just feels clunky. And the heavy attack doesn't do much damage compared to the regular swipe that takes as much energy away. But Shattering Strike, I thought this was finally going to be the Hunter's chance to have something like Melting Point, but again, it's just as situational as Flawless Execution is. To get into the things that I think would help make this subclass great, first, I think Super should be extended by maybe 5 seconds, and the damage to PvE targets be slightly increased, since the Arc Staff just flat out beats it. And they seriously have to fix something about the registration of the Super. It is a shit show in PvP. You have better luck winning the lottery than actually landing a hit on an enemy. You have to swipe at least 17 times, and by the time you've done that, the supers ran out. And the damage to other supers in PvP using this thing is just laughable. You have to actually use your full super to take down something like a hammer, which takes 6 hits or some shit. But moving on to Flawless Execution again, this is still too situational, especially in PvP since you have to be crouching and landing precision kills. I think this should just be crouch kills, but to balance it out, reduce the range on the wall hack and the time it lasts. Or instead of being a live track, it should just pulse through the wall. The Smoke Bomb I personally think is fine. I don't see anything about it that should be changed. But Shattering Strike, I tried my hardest to make this ability good in PvE. I even tried pairing it with Tractor Cannon and Ikelo's Shotgun, and the enemy debuff still doesn't warrant you crouching, landing a precision kill on a trash mob, running up to the boss and meleeing it, and shoot it with your Tractor Cannon, spraying it with Ikelo's Shotgun. It just doesn't work and it's not worth the time and effort. Anyway, I'm done ranting here. I hope you guys, even the Titans and the Warlocks, can see these classes and see how bad and unsynergistic they are. I want you all to see and agree with me, and maybe Bungie do something about making these more fun and effective. But that's going to stop the complaining for me. If you enjoyed this or found it helpful, consider dropping a like or maybe even a sub to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.
Something desperate.